Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Music Den. I'm your host, Armando Venditti. Hoping you guys are having a good day. I want to welcome you all back to another segment of Ranking the Albums. And today we are ranking the albums of progressive metal band Tool. Tool formed in Los Angeles in 1990. To date, they have released 2 EPs and 5 full-length CDs or albums. According to the guitarist Adam Jones, as of March of 2022, the band are currently working on their 6th full-length release. They have been signed to such labels as RCA, Zoo, Volcano, and Tool Dissectional. I do believe that Tool Dissectional is their own imprint. Now, in terms of lineups, the band have had the same lineup pretty much over the past, say, 30 years. There's only been one major lineup change in the beginning. The original lineup consisted of Maynard James Keenan on lead vocals and lyrics, Adam Jones on guitar, Danny Carey on drums, and Paul D'Amour on bass. Paul D'Amour would leave the band after the release of Undertow in 1993. He'd be replaced by Justin Chancellor, and that lineup has been together ever since. Now, in terms of their musical style, intense is the only way I can really describe them. Very dense, very layered arrangements, very intricate production. Uh, it's very emotional listening to these albums. For the purpose of this video, I will be only ranking the studio albums. I will not be ranking the 2 EPs, 72826 and Opiate. I do not have those. I have all 5 of the studio albums. And I gotta tell you, after listening to these albums back to back, I literally had to take breaks in between and just relax and rest because they were so intense. And this band believes in using the CD playing length to its capacity. Out of the 5 albums that they have, 4 of them are over the 70-minute mark. And out of those 4 albums that are over the 70-minute mark, the shortest one is 75 minutes and 45 seconds or something like that. Very long, very intense. Sorry, I was going to say intensive, intense, very much in your face in terms of the production and in terms of the arrangements of the tracks. So what I'm going to do is go through my list of ranking the albums of Tool for you. So coming in at number 5 is their debut release, Undertow. Undertow was released April 6th of 1993. Upon release, it reached number 50 in the US charts and number 17 in the New Zealand charts. Out of the 5 albums, this is the shortest one. Clocks in at 68 minutes and change. 10 tracks in all, lengthy tracks. The tracks range in time length between 4 minutes and change to 15 minutes and 47 seconds. So a lot of music packed on this CD. The 2 main singles from the album were Prison Sex and Sober. I do remember this album coming out in 93 and it getting a lot of air, the singles being played on Much Music quite a bit. They were pretty much in heavy rotation. The 2 videos featured stop motion animation and a lot of dark imagery, just very intense. Okay. There's a lot of frustration in Maynard's vocals delivery, a lot of anger. The lyrical themes deal with abuse, deal with questioning of authority in terms of government, and questioning where you belong in society, whether you do belong in society. Uh, it's very deep and it's very intense and very emotional. Okay. Uh, Maynard, in terms of his lyrics and in terms of his vocal delivery, pretty much wears his heart on his sleeve for all of the releases. Okay. Other songs of note on this album are Bottom, which was a co-write between Keenan and Henry Rollins of the Henry Rollins Band. That track alone clocks in at 7 minutes and 14 seconds, and Henry Rollins is featured as backup vocalist on the track. Other songs I note on the album are Swamp Song, Undertow, the title track, and Disgustipated, which the final track on the album, clocking in at a mammoth 15 minutes and 47 seconds. The track itself ends at 6 minutes and 45 seconds, with the rest of the track containing sound effects, chirping birds, etc. Again, fantastic album, very much in your face in terms of the production, very layered, very textured. I sometimes I would refer to it as almost like a wall of sound. Okay. Just brutal and very honest, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. So coming in at number 4 is Lateralus. Lateralus was released on May 15th, 2001. Upon release, this album reached number 1 in the US and the Canadian charts. Again, brutal album. I do believe this clocks in at 78 minutes. They pushed the playing time on the CD to the ultimate limit that they could. Songs of note are Schism, which is one of the singles, Parabola, another single. Again, this is also where the band started to stretch out in terms of experimentation. There are some instrumentals on this album. Eon Blue Apocalypse clocks in at just 1 minute and 4 seconds. And Mantra is another one that clocks in at a minute and 12 seconds. I do like the fact that they are experimenting with the instrumental interludes. And it's great. It gives you a bit of a respite. Even if the interlude is sound effects, it does give you a bit of a respite from what's going on musically on the album. Other songs to note on Lateralus is the title track. Again, that also clocks in at 9 minutes and 24 seconds. So again, they really didn't care how long the song was. If it was going to be 20 minutes, it was going to be 20 minutes. They did not care. And they did not bend or yield to record company pressure to be more commercial or to the media or their fans. They basically did whatever the hell they wanted to do. Other songs to note are Ticks and Leeches, which if I remember correctly, has Maynard doing more like like screeching type of vocals, just real brutal vocals on this track. Reflection is another good track, clocking in at a mammoth 11 minutes and 7 seconds. Just great. Triad is another instrumental on the album, clocking in at 6 minutes and 32 seconds, followed by another like 2 some odd minutes of silence. So again, they were not afraid to do anything that entailed experimentation with their albums, and this is proof of it. Coming up next at number 3 is Anima. Anima was released on October the 1st, 1996. This is one of the albums that they used David Bottrell on. David Bottrell, a Canadian producer, worked with such groups as Dream Theater. Upon release, the album reached number 10 in the US charts. Fantastic album. I remember seeing the advertisement for this album. Even the album cover with like the ghost figures, the faces on the cover, on the border of the cover. Just amazing. Stinkfist is one of the singles from the album. Eulogy is another beautiful track. H, another single. Useful Idiot. You gotta love that track title, right? Clocking in at a whopping 36 seconds. Another experimental interlude. Another track of note is 46 and 2. After that, you have Message to Henry Menbach, which is just 1 minute and 52 seconds. Beautiful piano accompaniment on the track. Just beautiful, gorgeous. On top of that, you have somebody leaving a message on an answering machine, basically telling this guy off, Henry Menbach. This guy is swearing at him in Italian, okay? Wishing him death. And it's a bit of interesting dichotomy. You have the, if that's the right phrase, you have the piano, which is a beautiful passage, but then you have this guy telling him off, wishing him death, literally wishing him death. Interesting, right? Up next is Hooker with a Penis. Again, his lyrics and his messaging is very much of a defying nature. Okay. Maynard is always has always been the type of person, sorry, that goes against what is expected of him, in terms of his lyrical content. And he won the praises of his contemporaries. Jeff Martin of the Tea Party praised Tool because they were a band, in his opinion, that basically did whatever the hell they wanted to do, right? They are a band of integrity, right? Up next is Intermission, another instrumental. Just a little a little jaunt, 56 seconds. Beautiful keyboard jaunt. Jimmy is next, track number 9. Track number 10 is a short track called, it's a German track translated to, in English, it's called The Eggs of Satan, 2 minutes and 17 seconds. Okay. Push It is next, which is another 9-minute, 55-second track. Beautiful, beautiful. The title track is coming up next at 6 minutes and 39 seconds. And Third Eye ends off the album at a mammoth 13 minutes and 47 seconds. Okay. They were starting to move away from the straight on aggression of their previous work. They started to go into more experimentation with their arrangements and stuff. Okay. That's number 3. Coming in at number 2 is 10,000 Days. 10,000 Days was released on April 28th, 2006, reaching number 1 again in the US and the Canadian charts. A lot of people did not like this album due to the fact that the critics said that there was no growth in their compositions. I would disagree. I would disagree. This is the album where they started to use things like tabla, percussion, sitars. I do believe that Adam Jones uses a talk box on the track Jambi, which, yes, I do believe he does. Again, lengthy album, but this is the album that clocks in at like 75 minutes and 46 seconds, so shorter than the previous 2 albums. Album starts off with the track Vicarious. A lot of the stuff that comes later in their catalog, there's a lot of use of bass in terms of low frequency, sort of very almost ambient type of arrangements in terms of use of the bass. And in terms of Adam Jones' guitar style, again, I don't know if I mentioned this, but he has a very precision type of rhythm guitar playing. very almost percussive as well, but very sort of again stringent. Like it is what it is. Boom, boom, boom. Like I said with Caligula's Horse, Sam Valent's guitar is very percussive, very precision-like. Adam Jones is the same way. Again, the album 10,000 Days starts off with the track Vicarious. Next track, Jambi, another track that's at 7 minutes and 28 seconds. This is where Adam Jones is using the talk box. Fantastic, fantastic arrangement, fantastic track. Next up is a two-parter, Wings from a Ray Part 1, 6 minutes and 11 seconds. It's more experimentational. Okay, a lot of use of panning of guitars from the left and right channels. Uh, beautiful, beautiful track. The drums are really, I don't believe, don't come in until around, I believe it's like the 3 minute mark. Okay, so they don't feel that they have to be aggressive on the drums right away. And again, Danny Carey's drumming on these albums is stellar. Fantastic. All right. Up next is 10,000 Days Wings Part 2. It's a two-parter and another mammoth track, 11 minutes and 13 seconds. Okay. I personally like Wings Part 1 myself, but Wings from Marie, sorry. I like it better. I just do. It's more emotive. It's more emotional to me. Uh, the Pod comes next, clocking in at 6 minutes and 21 seconds. I do believe that was another single. And again, they're doing more experimentation. The next track is a short track, 1 minute and 11 seconds. Lippin Conjuring. Again, amazing, amazing. Up next track of note for me is Rosetta Stoned, 11 minutes, 11 seconds. Fantastic, fantastic. Intention is next. And track 10, Right in 2, which to me is fantastic. And that's number 2, album number 2. Coming in at number 1 is Fear Inoculum. Fear Inoculum was released on August 30th, 2019. So there was a 13-year gap between 10,000 Days and Fear Inoculum. Upon release, again, it reached number 1 in the US, Canadian, and UK charts. This album was released in multiple formats, a lot of multimedia facets to this release. I have the CD release with the 7 tracks. Fantastic album. This album clocks in again 79 minutes and 10 seconds. So they were using the entire CD medium to its maximum. The digital version is 84 minutes, and I do believe that the LP version is 86 minutes. So there were like 2 or 3 songs that were not included on the CD version. 7 tracks in all on this album, on the CD version, and they're all lengthy. Starts off with the title track, Fear Inoculum. And what I like about this album is they continue with what they were doing with 10,000 Days in terms of use of sitar and in terms of use of tabla, of percussion. Danny Carey said that for this album, for the sessions, he started listening to drummers such as Bill Bruford, Billy Cobham, just to get a different feel. Carl Palmer, to listen to some of the progressive stuff and some of the jazz fusion drummers, just to get a bit of a different flavor for the album in terms of the arrangements and the playing. Amazing, amazing. Other songs I note on this album are Invincible, Descending, which again, all these tracks clock in around Like Invincible clocks in at 12 minutes and 44 seconds. Descending 13 minutes and 37 seconds. Calling Voices, which is one of the more experimental tracks, clocks in at 10 minutes and 5 seconds. Okay. Amazing. Just beautiful. Again, the entire production of the album, they use a lot of use of tabla, percussion, just use of different types of bass frequencies, and it's amazing. It's a hell of an album, right? It's a lot to listen to. To sit down and listen to this album takes a lot. The last track on the album is Tempest, and this is the hardest track on the album in terms of guitar and in terms of Maynard's vocal delivery, clocking in at a mammoth 15 minutes, 44 seconds. But this album, for me, if this is where they left off, I'd like to see where they're going to continue with the next release. So that's it, guys. My album ranking of Tool from albums 5 to 1. So please put in the comments below your favorite Tool albums and in terms of the ranking, in terms of what you like, best to least or least to best. And again, no right or wrong answers, just different opinions. And I gotta say, I mean, listening to these albums from Undertow to Fear Inoculum, it was hard. It was brutal. There were times where I had to sit there and just relax after listening to one album. And some albums I had to listen to in sections because it was so long. You know what I mean? Adam Jones had said that they might be going back to more shorter tracks for the following release, going back to what they were doing on Undertow. He'd like to do that. I don't know if they're going to agree on that, but we'll wait and see. So that's it for now, guys. I have more shows coming up with Bill Schuster. We are going to be continuing working on our giving you our top 30 prog tracks, parts 2 and 3. We are going to be doing a new music discovery featuring the Tea Party. Bill is going to give us his opinion on their major label debut, Splendor Solis. And we're going to be making a series like we did with Joe Jackson. And there are other shows coming up. So please stay tuned. I'm also going to be doing an album ranking on Caligula's Horse. I promised to do that a few months ago. I didn't follow through. I'm going to follow through on that. So please stay tuned for that. Anyways, that's it for now. Please look after yourselves and one another. Please click like and hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell to keep yourselves on top of any new content that got coming up. And yeah, that's it for now. All right. Have a good day. Take care. Bye-bye.